Hello once again, welcome to Barcelona and the PokerStars European Poker Tour. It's the final day of the festival. It's the final day of our coverage. It's the final table of the main event. 6 players remain in contention for the EPT trophy and the first prize of nearly 1.66 million euros. I am James Hartigan, alongside me, Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my Barcelona babies.
So we are going to play down to a winner today, no matter how long it takes. I mean, how long is a piece of string? It could be over in 2 levels. It could take another 10 levels.
It's never been over in 2 levels.
Good point. Well made. We saw some crazy action last night. I hope it's going to be as lively, as entertaining, as exciting today. If you did miss our Day 5 coverage, I'm afraid you missed a corker as we played down from 2 tables to the final table. Here's a brief summary of some of the highlights from the penultimate day of the EPT Barcelona main event. '16 returned to Casino Barcelona, hoping to make the final 6. Shannon Shaw ran into aces twice. He bowed out in 15th place. And a flurry of bust-outs then followed. Yunye Lu, Cyril Montbrun-Massot, Leandro Bustillo, and fan favourite Balakrishna Patur, they all hit the rail. Alexander Everson fired 3 streets, a huge bluff, but it got picked off. And he bust shortly afterwards, taking us down to our unofficial final table. Then a ridiculous hand, a 3-way all-in. Cully Sadu, Pasquale Bracco at risk. Ace on the flop. It looked like Bracco would survive. Jack of diamonds on the river. 2 players out. We were down to 7. Yunye Lu survived twice, thanks to some incredible runouts. And on the very last hand of the day, Johan Starakas bust in 7th place. And that gave us our final 6. And they're now taking their seats, ready for the start of play here on the final day. And here's what they are playing for. Everyone has locked up 295,000 euros, 364,660 for 5th, 436,760 for 4th, just over 600k for 3rd, nearly 900k for the runner-up. That first prize, 1.66 million. And we've said this a few times, Joe. I mean, we're looking at most of the 9.6 million euro prize pool being paid out today. We can see the jumps are huge, especially that separation between 2nd and 1st. Oh, yeah. I would imagine when we get 3-handed, or if we get heads up, I know the chip separation will play a factor, but I'd be really, really surprised if we didn't see at least deal negotiations, if not a deal agreed. Let's take ourselves around the final table. In seat 1, we have Rui Sousa from Portugal, qualified online, came 33rd in the PSPC at the start of this year. He has a 45 big blind stack coming into play today. He's 3rd in chips. In seat number 2 is another player from Portugal, from Madeira, Giovani Torre. His best result to date was 370th in the World Series main event this year, guaranteed to better that today. The player in seat 3 has a lot of experience from Stockholm in Sweden. It's Simon Brandstrom, and he's the chip leader coming into play. 18.5 million, 92 big blinds. The player in seat 4 got very lucky to survive last night. From Hong Kong, where he is an investment analyst, Yunye Lu. He enjoys snowboarding, skiing, and tennis, and is also a very keen poker player with some great live results. The player in seat 5 has come close to winning an EPT before, came 2nd in Prague back in 2016. From Budapest in Hungary, Marton 2-2, 2nd in chips at the start of play. And finally, the player in seat 6, originally from Brazil, but now lives in Malaga in Spain, Diego Falcone. Qualified via a 1,200 euro live satellite, says he's here for the glory. Excited to see how this final table plays out. We've got one hand at 100, 200, and then we're going to roll into level 33. The blinds will then be 125,000, 250,000, with a 250K big blind ante. Let's do this. Hand number one of the six-handed final table of the record-breaking EPT Barcelona main event. We started with 1,988 entries. Now we have our final 6 players. And we have Rui Sousa folding 8-6 under the gun. Torre with 9-8 off, folds. Brandstrom seems interested in this. 9-7 of hearts.
The Brandstrom Sandstorm. Here he comes. Dominant chip leader, late position, suited cards. Short stacks behind him, King, Jack for Lu. Lu's in on the button. Couple of paint cards.
So 425 was the open from Brandstrom. Czuzcor in the small blind. He's going to call as well with the ace-deuce of clubs. Diego Falcone with 10-4 of spades in the big, getting a great price.
So much price, much excite.
It's the first hand of the day, and we are going 4-way to the flop. And that flop is Jack 6-5.
Okay.
With 2 clubs.
So we got top pair for Lu.
Yep.
Gut shot for Brandstrom.
Yep.
Back doors for Falcone.
Admire the optimism.
And the nut flush draw for Czuzcor.
Well, it's been checked to Lu in position. 1.9 million in the middle. Lu, the effective stack, with 4 million behind.
I know it's a dicey proposition to bet into 3 opponents, but you might want to thin the field a little bit here if you can.
This is going to be how fast Czuzcor wants to play his draw. Lu has bet 700,000. And he does elect to check raise.
I love it.
Those black chips are the 100K chips. So Lu's bet of 700,000 has just become 2.1 million. We are playing for it all now. Falcone folds, Brandstrom folds. Lu with top pair, solid kicker. Might go for it here. And Czuzcor's going to be priced in. He announced all in, he's presented with a triangle. There's the call, and we have an all-in on the very first hand of the final table.
Here we go, my babies.
So Lu is currently a 58% favorite, but he has to fade aces and clubs.
What a sweat. Lu was the rubber man yesterday. Just kept bouncing back.
7 of spades on the turn. Lu now a 3-1 favorite, but still has to fade an ace or a club on the river. Czuzcor has 9 outs. King of clubs, and that'll do it for Lu. 2 pair, no good against the nut flush. And Yunye Lu did very well to survive and ladder up last night, but he is the first player out on the first hand of the day. Cashes out in 6th place for 295,520 euros. And Czuzcor's taken the chip lead. He's crossed the 20 million mark.
100 big blinds for Czuzcor. Yunye Lu, Yunye Lu. None your business. He out of here.
Well, at this point, let's welcome Finton Hand to the proceedings. Sorry you missed that one, Finton.
Yeah. I was watching it. I guess today is going to go just like yesterday, eh?
80 big blinds for Czuzcor, because we are now playing the 125, 250 blind level. We have now rolled into level 33, and we're already down to 5. Torre, now the short stack at the table with 17 bigs. And number 3. We start with the action on Brandstrom.
Will he be opening 100% of hands?
Ace, deuce off. He lets this one go.
I think the dynamic's going to change a little bit for Brandstrom now that he has the chip leader on his left. Won't be able to get as aggressive as he was previously.
Good point.
So Marton Czuzcor opens with the ace-king, 550,000. Rounds it, Rui Sousa, he folds the small blind. Giovani Torre in the big blind has king-jack of clubs.
He is dominated, but he is going nowhere. He is the shortest stack. We can see he's dominated. Fenton is the play here to see a flop, even though that's what we want to do because we can see all the hole cards.
I don't think it would be an unreasonable hand to shove because you're against the aggressive player.
He moves all in with the king-jack, gets snap-called, and it's domination nation, and Torre's at risk. We are behind.
We are at risk of going four-handed after only 3 hands.
I figured that after last night, they might have just had some time for quiet reflection. Nope, they're still going at it.
Well, the cards have other plans.
It's an ace-high flop, and it's not looking good for Giovani Torre. A club on the turn would give us a sweat, I guess. No club. Torre drawing dead on the turn. And just like that, after 3 hands, we're down to 4. Giovani Torre exits in 5th place for 364,660 euros.
Okay, man.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks.
That's a Torre.
At the moment, these players are making about 50,000 euro per hand today.
Yeah, jeez. The real prize is getting a handshake from that guy.
So blind v blind, Falcone raised from the small to 800,000 with the ace-queen. However, he's been out-flopped by Rui Sousa with queen 10.
$1.1 million.
Second bet, 1.1 million.
Pretty interesting board for Falcone. Decide to continue betting on. We can see it's not going to go very well for him. It's also a board that his opponent's going to do pretty well on when he raises from the small blind and gets a defend in the big blind. I think Sousa just always going to call here.
Yep. Makes the call. And for Falcone's sake, I really hope there isn't a queen on the turn. Then it's the 6 of diamonds. Board just gets better for Sousa. Top pair and a flush draw, 95% equity. And Falcone's got a 25 big blind stack now. Surely he slows down here, Vincent.
Yeah, this is a turn card that it's just so hard to continue bluffing on. But he looks like he is going to reach for chips. His opponent can have all sorts of 6s. He can have made flushes. He's never going to fold a 10. He's not even going to fold if he has 2 overcards with a high diamond. So I like waving the white flag here, even though with 4 million in the middle and only 6 million in your stack, it can be a little bit frustrating.
So he's checked to Sousa.
Checks it back.
Jack on the river. Jack of spades doesn't change anything.
Welcome back, final players. We are 26 players remaining. We will do a redraw at 24.
Falcone's got to think about what he's attempting to get his opponent to fold if he decides to bluff here. It's not impossible that he has the best hand still with ace-queen.
Well, a stack might get a 10 to fold. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff.
1.350.
And he just stepped off.
$1,350,000, a decent percentage of his remaining chips. 20% of his stack.
I mean, a flush is reasonable, no?
Potentially, but I just feel if Falcone had a flush, he would probably be trying to get more chips into the middle. The most likely hands that are going to take this line might be a hand like King Jack, Ace Jack, a Jack that has a diamond. I think Sousa could even potentially end up wanting to bluff this hand if he thinks his opponent is just trying to maybe thinly value bet with a Jack.
I guess ultimately 1.3 million isn't that much into this pot.
It's hard.
Nice call. Ultimately, a fairly small percentage of that pot by Falcone.
Well, that sees Sousa add 3.25 million to his stack, now playing more than 50 bigs, now playing nearly 13 million. Falcone drops down to 5.1 million. He's got 20 big blinds, and he is the low man at the table, with 4 players remaining here in the EPT Barcelona main event. So this is hand number 8. We've already had 2 eliminations. You see Alexander Iversen in the background there. Did you know that Iversen and Brandstrom are sharing a hotel room here in Barcelona, and both almost made the final table?
It's very cute.
Czuzcor opens under the gun with 8s. Falcone with ace-queen on the button.
20 big blinds, the more important thing he's holding.
Yeah, I think we always see the all-in here with the ace-queen. And I think we probably always see the call with the 8s.
Well, there is the shove from Falcone. Let's see if Brandstrom wakes up with a hand in the big blind. Nope. Back on Czuzcor. And he calls, and we are off to the races. Now, this is where Falcone has been a specialist in the last 2 days.
8 ace king. I have 8.
He seems incapable of losing a race. He always spikes an ace. He is invincible.
Ice, pede o ice.
Huge, huge spot.
Worth
Worth hundreds of thousands in real money equity.
The flop has a queen on it. Falcone now set for the double up. 89% favorite, just has to fade an 8.
I guess you were right, James.
He is invincible. Oh, 8 on the turn!
Oh, man.
We found the kryptonite.
Turns out he is quite invincible.
Diego Falcone eliminated in 4th place. Cashes out for 436,760 euros. We've been playing for less than 30 minutes and we've lost half the final table. We're already down to 3.
Hachi Machi.
Marton Czuzcor has managed to knock out every player on the final table today so far as well. What an incredible start today for him.
He has made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So is Brandstrom. Oh, what are they talking about?
Yeah, we can have a look.
Let's do it then.
Absolutely.
So can we have a break and discuss?
Oh, wow. They want to look at the numbers already. I mean, it makes sense just to clarify the stacks now, Czuzcor's pretty much got half the chips in play, 29 million, 114 big blinds. Simon Brandstrom, 70 bigs. Rui Sousa, 51 bigs. So they're deep, but understandably, there's a lot of difference between third, second, and first on the payouts. They may want to redistribute the praise pool.
We would like to look at the numbers.
Can I make a prediction? Czuzcor is going to want too much. They're not going to make a deal. That's what happens in these cases, 90% of the time.
So this is chip chop, this is ICM. This is total amount, this is your amounts, and with the 1 point to play for.
We're looking at the ICM, right? Guys, I mean,
yeah.
With 1.32,
yeah,
132 to play for.
I need some extra, but we will look at from the ICM numbers.
I'm not going to enter those kind of discussions, man. Yeah. If you want the LCM, it's okay, but if you don't, I'm not going to give you anything.
So you want extra and he's not going to give you, right?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line?
You want to stick with that? I don't know.
Well, let me check, like 1148.
It's over $1 million.
Because he told me he wants some extra as well.
Well,
so it will be.
Both of you want extra.
I can go with ICM, but I'm not giving away anything for sure.
No, me neither. I stick with ICM and no more.
So if you want extra, we're gonna play.
Yeah, it's up to you.
It's up to you.
Okay, so let's play and discuss if the stacks will change.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very much.
No deal. It was 11,000 extra euros that Marton Czuzcor wanted. But Sousa ain't budging.
Maar nem tudok.
Brandstrom ain't budging, and we will play on. No deal.
Sousa with pocket fours makes it 550,000. Brandstrom with another big hand, ace-10. And we're going to see another re-raise. Will it be to the same amount as before? Nah, bigger this time. 2 million. Oh, it wasn't a re-raise last time, that's why. It was just a raise after a limp from the small blind.
And there is 25K. The total prize level has been confirmed. We have a total of 60 entries this week. Generating the prize will be €4,440,600.
So is it calling? 3 million chips in the middle. Sorry, 4.5 million chips in the middle.
I can't take him serious with this fan.
It's really, really difficult. King, king, tray, pocket four is still good.
But imagine that Brandstrom wants to continue on this board mostly, not do a whole lot of checking, only betting a pretty small size. He's unlikely to make too many better hands fold, but at the same time, if he can make his opponent even fold a 9-10 of clubs right now, maybe not 9-10 of clubs, but Queen Jack of clubs, it's a pretty big win for him. Sousa certainly unlikely to fold versus the 800k bet with the 2 4s, I would imagine.
$19, 1.9.
Wowee. 1.9 million is the raise. I like it, I love it, I want some more of it.
Sousa just identifying that it's going to be pretty hard to call down the streets with the pocket fours. His opponent's going to have a lot of hands that have completely whiffed this board, looking to get a little bit of protection from these exact kind of hands. It looks like Brandstrom is not willing to fold just yet. Getting a very good price. Might feel that he has the best hand also from time to time.
Sousa with just about a pot-sized bet left behind. 9 of spades is your turn.
If we do see a bet from Sousa on the turn, I would imagine it will be, again, a very small bet. Never going to be shoving or betting large, because it's not impossible, of course, for Brandstrom to just have hands that him absolutely crushed. Oof. Disaster on the river for Sousa. Not quite playing the board, but not far off.
But he's coming out swinging anyway. Stack of blacks coming at you. And not much Sousa can do after this run out. Gross. Really gross. Almost as gross as that fan.
I don't see how he could pull the trigger, but it'd be such a naughty spot to go all in.
Sousa not naughty, he's nice. At least in this context. Folds the counterfeited 4s.
We're going to be back in Barcelona next year for the PokerStars Players No Limit Hold'em Championship. The SBC 2020 will take place at Casino Barcelona from the 20th to the 24th of August. Between now and then, there's the chance to win a Platinum Pass, the dream ticket to this $25,000 tournament. If you want to win free entry to the next PSPC, head to PokerStars.
And the jacks, they just keep on coming. Brandstrom pocket jacks here on the button. Two-tour folds. Sousa 10-8. Seems good enough for a poke. And it is. Sousa going to be the pretty big dog. But does flop top pair, a dangerous top pair. 8s for Sousa. Checks to the pre-flop razor.
I think Brandstrom on this board probably wants to bet on the larger side. And Sousa could find himself in a tricky situation. Maybe 8-4-3, he can go a little bit smaller.
That is pretty small. 500,000.
Tricky stack size for Sousa. If he had less than 20 big blinds, certainly if he had anywhere near 15 big blinds, he's just going to be check raising to get it all in.
Well, we did check raise. And Brandstrom's got to be loving this. No pre-flop re-raise. Very unlikely jacks are beat here.
Question just comes down to now whether he wants to call or whether he wants to try and play for stacks on the flop. I think he probably has to just call. If there's a flush draw out there, I think it'd be a little bit different. Has some more natural bluffs, but on 8-4-3 rainbow, it's so hard to see what he'd be bluffing with here.
Wouldn't the likelihood of him... So you're saying because he's not likely to be bluffing, we can put in a raise?
I think... Oh, he's going to shove.
All in from Brandstrom. Get your sandstorms ready. The Brandstrom sandstorm may be claiming another victim. If Sousa calls, which he does,
Wow.
he will be way behind.
Knäckte. 10, han har 10-8, jag knäckte.
There is an 82% chance that Sousa will be the third place finisher here at the record-breaking EPT Barcelona 2019.
It's like, oh, there's no hashing.
He's got 8s and 10s as outs. The turn is a 7. Close, but no cigar. Rui Sousa from Portugal needs to hit an 8 or a 10 on the river, which is a 4. Jackson 4s beat 8s and 4s. Rui Sousa eliminated in third place. 607,400 euro.
Great job, tough battle.
Would have done considerably better had a deal been reached. It looks like they may discuss again. Chip counts much closer this time. Czuzcor, 126 big blinds.
Again. We'd like to check the numbers again.
Brandstrom, 110 big blinds. We're gonna just verify those chip counts.
It looks fine.
Yeah, sure.
So we chop it and play for 77?
Yeah, sure. You can pick another amount if you want.
No, just shake hands.
That's fine.
Okay.
With me.
Yeah, sure.
Also call me daddy.
Okay. So we agreed on these exact numbers. Yep.
The ICM on.
Oh, the chip
And you
chop,
played
whatever.
for 7734, I think.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, guys, well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here are the numbers as agreed. Both players locking up over 1.2 million euro. They're playing for nearly 77,500. Not too often you see a deal reached and that deal results in both players walking with over $1 million. That's what happens when you have a starting field of 1,988 entrants. Here we go, my babies.
Have we even had 20 hands today yet?
This is hand number 20, Finton.
I said it after hand number 3 of the final table that these players were making 50,000 euro per hand. They've managed to keep that rate up.
Did you just
That's impressive.
Calculate it?
Well, they've locked up $1 million each and there's been 20 hands.
Sorry, but so you used a calculator or?
No, 20 times 50,000, dude.
Yeah, I know, but you don't do that in your head. What, no, those numbers are huge.
All right, let's do 20 times 5. You can do it that way. It's all
20
the same.
times 5. Can I?
No, you can't use the calculator.
Okay, putting it away. 20 times 5 is 100.
Yeah. Add a few zeros, you're there.
But how many?
How many's in 50,000?
50,000. 50,000's in 50,000. Two actual solid hands battling on this first deal of heads up. Jack 10 flopped best. Czuzcor catching a king on the turn. It's a 4-spade board now, which leaves Marton with a jack high flush. And despite a decent flop for Jack-10, this has been a pretty bad run out. As Czuzcor bets 1.8 million. Brandstrom does, in fact, get away from it. Alexander Everson in the background on the rail for his roommate, Simon Brandstrom.
I wonder if he had a little piece of that pie. Nice little swap, as roommates tend to do.
Hand 24 of the final table. This is still the first level. Czuzcor opens to 600,000 with Queen 4. Brandstrom's got him dominated with Queen 8 suited. I mean, on paper, Finton, this looks like a pretty even matched heads-up battle in terms of experience, ability, and the difference in the chip stacks isn't that great right now.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I think both players would probably fancy their chances of getting the job done, being crowned the winner of the biggest field ever at an EPT, lifting that beautiful gold trophy.
So both players flop top pair. It goes check, check, and a 4 on the turn. Sees Czuzcor take the lead. 2 pair now.
I could definitely see Brandstrom wanting to bet his top pair here. Very strong hand heads up, particularly when your opponent has checked back on this board. And will Czuzcor want to raise with the Queen 4? Start trying to get chips in the middle now. There's definitely some semi-bluffs he could have. Maybe some ace-high clubs might want to raise a turn occasionally, maybe King X. It's hard for him to have hands like 3-5 and 5-6 that didn't see bet the flop, but he is going to raise. And Brandstrom, no way can he fold his hand just yet.
Only 2 denominations of chips still in play. The green 25Ks and those black chips, those are the big ones, the 100K chips. So it's a 3x raise to 3 million. How do you fold top pair heads up?
Yeah, I don't think Brandstrom, unless he has a read, of course he's been playing with his opponent for quite some time now, that he's just so unlikely to be bluffing here, and he's often going to find himself in a terrible spot, but I just don't see how you can ever fold. This is by far our biggest pot so far of the heads up. Czuzcor gotta be thinking this is a dreamy spot. I would be betting extremely large. The 3 of spades maybe completes the occasional draw if he happened to check back 5-6 on the flop and then raise the turn. Occasionally the ace-5, but those hands I think unlikely to be played this way. He's got to go big, polarize himself. What an awful spot for Brandstrom.
6.2 million is the river bet from Czuzcor. 7.5 million in the middle. He's gone big.
There's a few hands that Brandstrom going to be concerned about, hands like 10-4, maybe a deuce 4 suited, pocket 4s, the more obvious candidates that would want to check back the flop and then raise the turn. Is his opponent capable of just having a complete airball? It's so unlikely. Heads up. Does he have missed clubs that are now going to follow through on the river? It's just such a tough spot after your opponent checks back the flop.
He announces call and loses a huge pot to Marton Czuzcor. That pot, nearly 20 million, an additional 10 million to Martin's stack, and that's going to put some significant distance between them, Finton. 175 big blinds, playing 63 big blinds.
Simon Brandstrom, he is dominated. Here we go. King, Jack, 8, top pair for both players. Brandstrom outkicked in a bad way. Get your T-Tours and your Sandstorms ready.
I mean, this is an incredibly draw-heavy board. This could be it. We could be about to see an all-in for the title.
That's a stack of blacks, which is at least 2 million, 2.1 million. Brandstrom, yeah, certainly cannot fold. What does he do?
I mean, I would imagine that he's going to call, but I don't think you could be upset if he decided that he wanted to protect his hand on such a draw-heavy board. Little does he know, but he wants one of those terrible turn cards. The ace of diamonds, the queen of diamonds. There's 8.35 million behind. There's 7.6 million chips in there.
The 9 of diamonds. Terrible, but not. Brandstrom open-ended now.
Certainly a turn card that could slow down the action.
Two-tour checks. OMG, you guys. This hand, though. Brandstrom does not want to make two pair now. Checks behind. The river is a queen. Brandstrom gets there, two pair for two tour. Also did not want to make two pair. What a sick run out. Where's the rest of the deck? Where's the fours?
Does Martin want to ever block bet here and try and get called by some worse two pairs? His opponent is going to have a very reasonable amount of tens. The jack tens. Unlike to have the queen tens, maybe even the 9 tens, and as we can see, king tens. Can Brandstrom on this board call with a worse hand?
What you're saying is that this hand is in tens.
Exactly, mate. Looks like he's going to go for the small block bet.
0.5.
Small block bet indeed, 1.5 into 7.6 million. And Brandstrom just calls, understandably so. Solid hand, far from the nuts. And the Brandstrom Sandstorm, do-do-do-do-do. Big win for Simon. Back up to 68 big blinds now.
And we move on to hand number 54.
Jack and a jack. I think the first premium pair we've seen in this heads-up battle so far. Brandstrom just continuing his strategy of looking to keep pots nice and small. Hasn't been much re-raise and pre-flop so far. Does out flop the jack and the jack though. Ace 10 7 flop. Czuzcor might be tempted to check this one even though it's a board. He does want to be mostly betting. I think at this stack depth a little bit too deep maybe for Brandstrom to want to check raise.
Calls the 400,000. Turn card is a deuce.
Highly suspect that we're going to see the check on this turn. I think Brandstrom can feel very comfortable that he has the best hand now. He can still have a lot of hands that he'll be bluffing with. 8-9, 6-9, Jack-9, all these sort of hands that are good shots. So I would like to see a pretty large bet from him here, close enough to pot.
10 seconds. 6 bet, 1.5.
Much?
Bet of 1.5 million, called by Czuzcor. Ship it to Brandstrom. And that does narrow the gap. Brandstrom back up to 24.5 million. More than 80 big blinds. 115 bigs for his opponent. So we get a raise here from Czuzcor to 900,000 with 6-3 suited. King 3 for Brandstrom. Worth a defend, Finton, with king high?
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance that we're going to see him fold here. It'll be interesting to see if occasionally he wants to mix in a re-raise.
He does not mix in the re-raise, just a call. Hello, nurse, OMG.
Full house for Brandstrom. Trip threes for Czuzcor.
Brandstrom with such a lock on the board, he might be tempted not to check raise here, but we can see if he plays it quick, all of the chips are going to be going into the middle.
Here comes the C-bet. 700,000 into 2.2 million.
We're almost certainly going to see a complete stack reversal here.
You can only play this slow, right? You've just got so much of this, and it's so unlikely that your opponent does. What can you do?
Oh, come on.
Jeez.
It's now house over house.
The poker gods are bored today.
And look at this from Czuzcor's perspective. He's just turned a boat and he's thinking, this is it. I'm going to close it out here. This is the moment that I'm going to win an EPT.
Does Brandstrom want to now start getting all the chips in on the turn? He might be tempted to continue to just call. It's going to look incredibly strong if he does check raise his turn. And we can see he has such a lock on the board. It's so hard for him to imagine that his opponent has a strong hand right now, except for maybe some flushes.
1.7 million into 3.6 million.
10 seconds.
Gotta just call again and go for value on the river, and you are gonna get it. Just put the 6 on the river too.
We are going to see the check raise all in, and we are going to see the snap call. Marton's going to think he's about to take the title, and he is going to get the news that he's been coolered.
So you think he checks here, Finton? Doesn't lead for value, but yes, he does check. Wow.
Yeah, the 10 of hearts on the river just doesn't change enough about the board. Brandstrom just has to go for the check raise, and this way he can hope, if he has coolered his opponent with another full house, or more likely with a flush, the check raise on the river means he'll get to play for all of the chips.
The nonchalant 6 million bet.
Into a pot of 7 million.
Such a sick hand to go down heads up.
Brandstrom's got 18 mil, give or take, behind. He could simply check raise all in here. We know he's going to get snap called, and we know he's going to get the full double up.
Yeah, he's about to have 40 million chips. From Czuzcor's point of view, maybe occasionally he feels his opponent could check shove all in with a flush. It's heads up. There's just no way he's ever going to be able to fold this 6-3.
All in.
There's the shove. Checks his hand. Snap calls, thinks it's all over, but it is not.
Too excited. No.
House over house. Ridiculously sick cooler.
So sick.
And that is the big switcheroo. Simon Brandstrom is now the guy in control. He's got more than 100 big blinds.
Unlucky.
43 million chips.
Huh?
Marton Czuzcor, 16 million, about 40 bigs.
The Brandstrom Sandstorm, double up.
He was so excited. He thought he had it. He
I
thought
was
that
so
was
happy
his
for a
mallet's
second.
moment.
Yeah, I thought you had with a strong flush.
Yeah, what a reversal. From elation to vomit in 1.5 seconds.
Slowly but surely, Finton, Marton Czuzcor seems to be crawling his way back, little by little, up to 35 big blinds now, opening here with Jack-7 of spades. Brandstrom with 10-5 off. And whatever happens here, however this works out, remember they did lock up most of the prize money when they did that deal when they first got heads up with pretty even stacks, both guaranteed more than 1.2 million euros. Still playing for 77.5 grand plus the trophy.
2-8.
Cheeky 3-bet with the 10-5.
So far, Marton hasn't really looked to want to fold often to 3-bets with the suited hands heads up, which makes a lot of sense. He has kept his composure incredibly well after them 2 huge recent setbacks.
Oh, don't keep mentioning it. Makes me want to throw up in my mouth. So we got 6 million in the pot. And a flop of 10-5-5. Another full house for Brandstrom. At least, Czuzcor has missed this time.
What's the man's name on the trophy?
Run better, sir. He has decided, understandably, to continuation bet with his full house, 1.6 million. Now, I guess, looking at this from Marton's perspective, Vincent, it's all about the backdoors, and he might just call here.
Does have some good backdoor opportunities. I wonder how tempted Brandstrom was to check this board when you flop the full house.
6.
But he is
1.6.
1.6.
but on the 10-5-5, more often than not, you are going to be betting all of your bluffs. So it makes sense to continue here.
Oh God, if he does decide to call this, please, no spade, no 8 or 9 on the turn. He folds. And now he's dropped below the 30 big blind mark. 28 bigs for Czuzcor. 120 big blinds for Simon Brandstrom. 48 million chips. Czuzcor has king queen.
Things are looking up.
Raises to 900,000. Pocket sixes for Brandstrom.
It's been a while since we've seen a flip. Is this likely
This
to go in
could be
pre-flop,
it.
Fenton? Yeah, you think so?
I mean, the sixes are most certainly going to want to shove here, and I don't think you're going to get the full king-queen at this stack depth. Heads up.
There's the all-in. And the call from Czuzcor, and we are flipping. A race for the EPT title.
Like money versus the title. One of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Sixes ahead for now, and if sixes hold, we have a winner.
Very tall.
I feel like Marton deserves a little bit of run good in this flip, given how the last 45 minutes has gone.
Well, if he does hit a king or a queen or some kind of straight combo, Finton, he'll still be at a significant disadvantage. It'll still be a better than 2-1 chip lead for Brandstrom. The flop is 9-7 deuce. No king, no queen. Czuzcor has 6 outs. The turn card is an ace, and Simon Brandstrom is on the verge of victory. Unless there is a king or a queen on the river, he will have won the biggest EPT main event of all time. The river card is a 5, and Brandstrom has done it. The Swede takes down the title here in Barcelona. And once again, for the second time in his poker career, Marton Czuzcor is a runner-up on the European Poker Tour. These are the 6 players who started the day. Lu went on hand 1, quickly followed by Torre, Falcone. Then we had the 3-handed deal negotiations that came to nothing. Then the elimination of Sousa. Then the deal agreed between Czuzcor and Brandstrom. A decent heads-up battle, a meaty heads-up battle, and the victory of Simon Brandstrom from Sweden. He's an EPT champion, and he's down on the floor with Joe Stapleton.
Simon, there's a popular cliche out there. It goes, don't call it a comeback. In your case, not only did you have a comeback, but you've had multiple comebacks in this tournament. Talk to me about those and how you were feeling throughout.
Yeah, I made a comeback day 1. I had like 12K left and spun it up a bit. And last night I was down to like 9 big blinds with 15 players left or something. And made a big rush from there. Ended up chip leader last night. So.
And then, of course, the heads-up comeback.
Yeah, that's a comeback as well. Martin played very good. I probably didn't play my A game, but the cards came my way. So, yeah.
Please give it up for EPT 2019 Barcelona champion, Simon Brandstrom.